It was my mom Shirley's then recipe there from the start, and always made it in, just the home oven. In fact, when we very first got started at those first couple farmers markets, it was just all made in the home oven there. So I guess you could call us home kitchen to commercial kitchen kind of product.
Welcome to Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens, a show for people who embrace the warm and cozy spirit of everyday living in the Midwest. From the blog Random Sweets, I'm your host, Stacy Mergenthal. When Gaylen Backus was in his peak popcorn growing season, he was popping out nearly 500,000 pounds of popcorn seed on his 350 acres of South Dakota farmland near Wentworth. Yeah, that's 500,000 pounds of popcorn in a year. He went from selling most of his crop to wholesalers to his family popping and packaging his wife Shirley's homemade caramel corn and selling it at farmers markets and vendor shows. People loved it, demand exploded, so much so that in 2015, he and Shirley and their youngest son Tyler converted their 2-stall garage into a commercial business. Now you can imagine the challenge of controlling the air temperature and humidity in a South Dakota garage. As Gaylen's gourmet popcorn earned a loyal following and a coveted spot on consumers' kitchen shelves and their Lake Madison boat rides, their business was popping out the seams of that garage. Okay, that's enough of the popcorniest quips. In this episode, Tyler Backus shares about the growth of the family business, where they moved their popcorn showroom to, Gaylen's services like corporate gifts, they have fundraisers and subscription boxes, and their most popular flavors. He shares about those and also shares the one flavor that people are most hesitant to try. Now, I also asked Tyler if there's a flavor that he's tried to create but just hasn't gotten it right yet, and believe it or not, there is one. Each year, they not only grow their business by adding new flavors like cranberry crave, they have birthday cake, chocolate drizzle. In the fall, it's caramel green apple and some other fall flavors. In the winter, they add things like Santa's snack. They also have dill pickle, cheesy pizza, buffalo ranch, Parmesan garlic, and many more. But they also expand the number of local products they sell in their showroom and on GaylensPopcorn.com. This episode is shorter than a movie, but grab a bag of popcorn anyway, and let's go talk to Tyler Backus at Gaylen's Gourmet Popcorn in Madison, South Dakota. And you can see photos from this episode while we're talking on randomsweets.com. Tyler, welcome to Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens. Thank you for taking time away from your business. I know you're really busy getting into the holidays and the fall here, but thank you for taking time away to visit with me today.
Yeah, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and I actually had the pleasure of meeting you in person and seeing your store in Madison last week. And I have a couple of bags of popcorn. We opened them yesterday, and I said to Jason, we need to try this before I talk to Tyler tomorrow. And I was thinking, I could have it here sitting on, munching on it while we talk, just to add some audio effects, but I won't do that.
Sure. Yeah. It was a pleasure to have you out here so you can kind of see the operation before we talk about it. So you can kind of paint a little bit of a better picture of our business here.
Definitely. It's really neat. I love that it's in Madison, South Dakota. So your dad is Gaylen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's been in the business of popcorn for at least 30 years in a different way than just having a store. So he was growing popcorn on his farm, when you were still a kid, right?
Yeah. So roughly, it's been probably about actually really close to 30 years, maybe about 28 if I'm maybe thinking correctly here off the top of my head. It was basically just when I was born. I'm just about 30 here as well. And he just kind of was looking for the next adventure on what to do. He used to have, kind of a standard farm. He had, raising like corn, soybeans, and also livestock. And he was actually just kind of looking for something a little different to get out of the livestock end of things. He was getting just kind of a little tired of raising livestock. And so he began experimenting what maybe the next best thing was. And he stumbled kind of across popcorn and actually kind of just began raising it like wholesale to sell to larger businesses besides himself, until a couple years down the line, he thought, well, maybe I could do something with this myself.
Is he still growing popcorn?
So he has actually now fully retired off of the farm. He actually does have a little plot of land where he kind of contracts out a little bit of like regular field corn or soybean, just because as an old kind of retired farmer, I don't think any of them necessarily want to give up everything 100%.
Yeah.
It's just what they've lived and breathed. So it's something that'll probably continue, forever, but it's just a little plot of land
Right.
for just a little bit of crop there. But otherwise, for
Okay.
the popcorn thing, he has retired that, and we were able to find another local family here right in the same area that took over the growing process of the popcorn, and we showed them the ropes. It's all done on the same property and stuff, the cleaning process and everything of the popcorn. So it's not done by Gaylen himself here anymore, but it's all done still locally right here on the same grounds.
Your dad, he isn't fully retired though, because I met him and he was buzzing around working at the store and things.
Definitely.
So
Yeah. He just was looking to retire off of the farm, I guess.
sure.
And he always calls it, he was looking to be done outside, and he started looking for an indoor job. So yep, he put the farm there behind him, and
Huh.
is actually the frosted nut and fudge maker here now inside at Gaylen's Popcorn.
Great title. I want that title when I'm retired.
Yeah.
So Tyler, just tell us a little bit about yourself. We kind of jumped right into your dad there and things, but just tell everybody who we're talking to today.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, my name's Tyler. I'm actually Gaylen's and Shirley's youngest son of the family. I have three other siblings. The oldest sibling, has a countertop business actually in Spirit Lake, Iowa there, which, a little fun fact, they actually did all the countertops and flooring here for our facility here in Madison, South Dakota. So that's kind of fun to keep
Nice.
things also in the family there too. And then my oldest brother lives in Montana, works on the Air Force Base there. So, and he's loving it in Montana. And then I have a sister that is in Washington, D.C. So I've got a lot of siblings that definitely scattered around. But
Hey,
being that I was the youngest of the family, it just almost kind of worked out timeline wise that Gaylen was kind of looking maybe for that next step, and just was right up my alley. I was interested, and kind of funneled my way into the business and helped Gaylen grow the popcorn business into kind of where it is today.
sure. And like you said, he was starting what that looked like when you were born. So you've seen a lot of the steps along his journey here. How often do you have to send popcorn to your siblings? Do they
Oh
get
yeah, well
subscription
we usually at
boxes?
least yeah, usually at least try to make sure everyone's covered for their birthdays and stuff. But yeah, we'll definitely make sure that they get to try some seasonal treats if they're missing it a little bit from being a
Yeah.
little far away, or if we ever make it into any family gatherings too. Of course, that's top priority. We got to bring it on the list to gather together.
So for people who don't know what Gaylen's Gourmet Popcorn is, tell us your origin story, where it came from. You talked about how he was farming and then he did a little wholesale, but that was the popcorn, like popcorn kernel. I don't know what you call them,
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
seeds.
Yeah,
He wasn't
basically.
actually
Yeah,
selling popped popcorn yet. So give us the history of that.
well, for the majority of the business, so roughly probably about 20 years there, it just all was basically popcorn seed. Gaylen had originally started by growing it and selling it out to kind of the larger companies making microwave popcorn, and then he realized, well, maybe I can create my own brand and name under it too, and he started making like 2-pound bags of for your home air poppers or regular poppers there, and made up a little line of microwave popcorn there as well, and kind of then expanded into larger bags, even 50-pound bags for other businesses and schools for concession stands. And that's basically, kind of what he did. He grew that for that amount of time, and still actually worked on his brand. Originally was Gaylen's homegrown popcorn, and even still wholesaled out quite a lot to those larger corporations as well, just to make ends meet. So he originally, or at his peak, I guess, of growing popcorn, he'd grow about 350 acres worth of popcorn, which amounts into pounds as a little over 500,000 pounds of popcorn every year he was growing. Yeah, he ended up getting quite a bit there. So, but that's when I kind of came in, and he was looking at scaling that back a little bit, and doing more with our own hands instead of relying on others, to grow so much and sell out. And so that's when we kind of first introduced kind of our caramel line with our homemade recipe there, and brought it to some farmers markets or some vendor shows to see the interest in the community. And it definitely started taking off, and people showed interest to us, wanted to wholesale and everything. When that's kind of when I fully stepped in, and we converted our two-stall home garage into a commercial kitchen and started growing the business from there.
And the caramel corn, you said that was an old family recipe of caramel corn, right?
Yeah, definitely. It was my mom Shirley's then recipe there from the start, and always made it in, just the home oven. In fact, when we very first got started at those first couple farmers markets, it was just all made in the home oven there. So I guess you could call us home kitchen to commercial kitchen kind of product.
Right. You went from your home kitchen to your garage because you outgrew the kitchen.
Definitely, for sure.
And then take us from you were doing this in your garage. And then what happened?
Yeah, so we were working in the two-stall garage, basically started in 2015 there, and roughly till 2021, if I'm not mistaken on my date there. But definitely just kind of grew the business for what we could in our garage there, and to the point where we could afford to move into a facility here in Madison, South Dakota. It was a kind of a growing process this whole time. We started off, well, with the home oven until we could afford an actual caramel cooker, just a little 5-gallon cooker. In fact, we got a little bit of what I'd say media attention from the Argus Leader, which happened right before Christmas and really kind of shined a spotlight on us. And we ended up getting really slammed for Christmas that year. We were basically clocking in at 7 a.m. and clocking out at 10 p.m. at night. And that's kind of what really jump-started everything. And we've just slowly been adding and expanding and getting other cookers and to help meet the demand and grow from there.
What was your decision like what was the conversation around moving? You needed more space. So how did you land on a downtown Madison location? You're in kind of in a historic building. You are in a historic building. How's that changed your business?
Of course, operating in the two-stall garage had its limitations. One, of course, location. We were out on the farm, which had a charm to it, but as we all probably can kind of expect, it's especially for new customers, maybe a little awkward to pull up into someone's yard and go shopping in their two-stall garage that's connected to the house. It's a little bit of like that barrier that you kind of cross there. And so it definitely was always our goal to move out of that garage when we had the chance. And we actually had two opposing expansions that we were facing. Gaylen debated building another kind of facility by the farm there and grow there, but it was still kind of the same thing. We were kind of out of the foot traffic and things like that. And I had the vision maybe to come into town. Madison, the original farm I should mention, is only about 10 minutes outside of Madison. Okay. And especially I wanted to be a part of downtown. It just felt like we were kind of one of those specialty shops that you'd come across if you're roaming the streets of Madison. And that's actually how a lot of people do find us. We're right across from the post office in town. A lot of people go into the post office, and when they're walking out, they say, a popcorn shop, like that sounds like fun, and come right across the street and come and check us out too. So it definitely lined up with my vision, and we found this building. We're actually in the original telephone company that was in Madison here. And finding an old building here in town definitely has its challenges as well. Usually outdated electricity, needs new air conditioning, stuff like that. But this building here actually had a lot of power brought into it just based on the telephone company, and it just worked out perfect for us. It had so many of our checklists that hit all the boxes.
And for people who don't know, Madison, South Dakota I consider it a lake town because there's a big lake there, and it's a very charming, it's not too big of a town, but it's big enough. There's a Dakota Butcher there, which after I left your shop, then I went down there to Dakota Butcher.
Definitely, like you said, big lake community here. We catch a lot of lake traffic in Madison. A lot of people that come to enjoy the lake in the summer only always make sure that they get their popcorn fix as well. We can tell when the lake traffic comes back, and they all come back for their bag of popcorn.
Well, sure. I mean, what's better than sitting around the campfire at night or out on the boat or the pontoon and having all these different kinds of cool popcorns too?
Definitely, exactly. Very cozy.
And then you need to get them hooked on it in the summers so that then when they leave, they're ordering online because you have online orders. So
yeah,
it's perfect.
definitely. And I'd say that was a big push, originally too, with being in the two-stall garage. We definitely wanted to make an online store, making it a lot easier, accessible there too, and just in general for people outside of our little bubble to have access to our popcorn. So kicked off the online store as well, right basically at the beginning of making caramel treats there too, and been able to ship out orders here ever since.
Mm-hmm. And so we're talking popcorn. And again, if people aren't familiar, if you haven't already gone to the website and are looking at everything available, you have a lot of things. And it's not just like plain popcorn that you're popping and putting in bags. You have sweet, you have savory, you have combinations. Talk to me a little bit about the flavors of popcorn and what you offer.
Sure. Well, I always want to make sure that we're hitting like anyone's taste buds, that if anyone's coming in, it's not just I've got caramel corn and I've got cheddar corn. We've got everything down the line. In fact, we roughly on hand usually have at least 20 to 25 flavors available on the shelf, anywhere ranging between, of course, your classics, caramel and cheddar, to bacon and cheese for some fun savories, and cheesy pizza, and also for some fun sweets, birthday cake, cherry chocolate drizzle. I mean, we've got flavors all up and down the line. In fact, for the fall here now, we've got spiced pumpkin, we've got apple pie, caramel green apple. I mean, we make a lot of fun flavors that some that we come up with, some, like a typical seasoning, like a bacon and cheese seasoning that we can add to the popcorn. But it's really fun to be able to create like an apple pie popcorn like we did, and find those right spices and blends to make like a really tasty and aromatic popcorn flavor for people to enjoy.
So you have cherry bing sometimes or not all the time. There wasn't any when I was there. I would have gotten that one.
I know. Yep. That one just kind of hit the tail end there. But that one kind of we always bring around for Valentine's Day and usually push through summer. And because it just kind of like just feels like a good gift to give to someone for Valentine's Day. And
But I was able to get, because you have fudge, we'll talk about that too, but I was able to get the cherry bing fudge. So that was cool. And, if you're really in fix, you carry the twin bing bars, which are very Midwest. And like my friend that lives out in Rochester, New York, who used to live in South Dakota, they can't get those out there. So the birthday cake is one of them that I got. That was the sweet one. And it's so good because sometimes those things are so overflavored that they're too much. But the flavor was just like this light, sweet, caramely, crunchy birthday cake flavor in popcorn. It was really, really good. It was hard to stop eating.
Sure,
like I need to go put this in a little container and set it aside, or I'm gonna eat it all tonight.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing that we do try to work hard on too, is getting like that correct consistency. And it's definitely, sometimes hard to hit because of course consistency can be per one person's taste. Someone will want a whole bunch more or less, but I feel like we do hit that, like right on that correct line of the right amount of seasoning to not overwhelm or underwhelm people with the flavors.
But you can definitely taste the flavor.
Sure.
I mean, it's not like it's a background flavor. It's there, and it was delightful. So, So when you're doing those seasonings and the tastings, I mean, how long does it take? You have something you think or somebody thinks in mind, and you start developing a recipe. How long does it usually take, or how many tries are you making batches till you come up with what you think is what's going to work?
Sometimes we're lucky and we can hit it right out of the park on the first batch or maybe the second. But I do have a couple flavors under my belt that there's been one that I actually haven't been able to crack after probably about 10 failed batches there too. It's like I've been looking to try to like create like a coffee caramel flavor that I think would be fantastic, and it's on the bench right now. I haven't been able to experiment with it for a while, but nope, that's the one that I just keeps a try and a try again, and isn't just quite right. But no, when you get one of those flavors that you get right on the first or second or maybe even third try, it's a good feeling, that's for sure.
Well, of course, that coffee caramel flavor, that one will be good when you do get it perfected, because I'm sure you will. But sounds
Just
good.
someday I'm going to crack that one.
So you're working directly with just one local South Dakota farmer? Is it Dakota Brothers? Or tell me about where you're getting your popcorn now.
Yeah, Gaylen himself used to grow it all, so it was all one source there, and it's still all one source now. The Dakota Brothers was founded once Gaylen retired there and kind of handed it off, and that's the name that they are growing for their own business here next. And but yeah, everything is sourced through them, and like I said, Gaylen helped them get their footing and showed them the ropes and everything. And we're still there when they have questions. We still work with them directly all the time. They work, directly with us. It's great to have that communication directly with the source, and being that we can offer our guidance that we've had, of course, because it's not like we wanted someone to take it over and we're going to cut all ties and say, okay, you guys get to figure it out. No, it's kind of that collaboration that we still get to, work directly together and make sure that we're still kind of like creating the best product that we can.
Are they on that 350 acres? Are they doing the 500,000 pounds of popcorn? Is that kind of what's happening with them too then?
I definitely think that they want to grow maybe up to that size, but not currently right now. They're basically just doing kind of like what we scaled down to before Gaylen did retire off the farm. We kind of more so scaled back to make sure that we had enough. And then, of course, they also provide popcorn for the schools and grocery stores and stuff kind of in the local area here. And I'm not quite 100% sure, but it's probably roughly around 100 acres here now instead that they grow.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's less, but they're still providing you with everything you need.
Definitely.
Plus, they still have enough for other wholesale.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, it definitely still provides plenty of popcorn to go around for everybody.
Well, that's good. We won't have a shortage of popcorn in South Dakota.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Tyler, if you weren't doing popcorn, what do you think you'd be doing?
Boy, great question because maybe it's just being that I've been a part of it my whole life, but once I kind of got to that point that I was in college, just kind of made sense to come back around and join the family business. And so it's hard to imagine what I'd be doing outside of this, but I've always been really big into anything tech related, but I've also been able to express that line of work here as well. I've definitely implemented plenty of stuff to make sure that we're operating in the 21st century here. So being that I do have a fun tinkering with tech, I've been able to even accomplish that here at the popcorn shop.
That's a big benefit. I mean, the technology part of running a business nowadays, especially when you have kitchen things, but then you're doing an online store. I can imagine that that's a huge benefit. You're not having to outsource any of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's just kind of been my hobby. So I understand how tough it can be for tech and everything like that, but it's kind of like my little side thing that I love to tinker with, and I've always just been interested in. And so definitely a good thing to have for my background to help things along in this aspect.
Is that what you went to school for when you said you went to college?
Well, I went to college at DSU here in Madison, South Dakota. Okay. And although I kind of just went for business classes, DSU is a really kind of tech forward company. And that's kind of what they wear as their backbone. So just inherently at going to DSU, I've kind of learned a good chunk of tech at that school as well.
Sure. Well, that's really good to hear because my son Sajin just started this fall in the DSU Business Management online program.
Sure.
So let's move into a little bit. We keep talking about popcorn, and you did give some different flavors, but you also have, okay, so you have a store that's in town in Madison, South Dakota, but you also do shipping. You also do where people can come in to your store and shop, and then you can ship it directly from there, not walking across the street to the post office. They can actually do it right there in your store.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the different products, because I walked in and was like, oh my gosh, there's so many things going on here. You have popcorn, frosted nuts, you have fudge, homemade candies. Tell me what you have in your store.
Yeah, that is one thing that definitely aligned from our vision from being in the two-stall garage here as well. We wanted to expand into kind of just in general being a good place to shop for anything local, being, a small local business ourselves. We wanted to make sure that we kind of expanded in that as well. And being such a popular gift location here throughout the years, it just kind of made sense to have that option. And so we've expanded into carrying multiple brands here in our store, like Dimmick Cheese and Midwest Sauce Company from, I believe, Sioux Falls here, South Dakota now, and Halogi Hot Sauce from Brookings. And I mean, we've started building brands in our shop here as well for people to shop for even a wider selection of products here and do even just in general shopping as well. So that's been a lot of fun to be able to work with other local businesses and get to know more people and collaborate kind of with everyone. And in fact, we've got even South Dakota wine now and South Dakota beer that we carry and sell here as well. And it's been fun to know them. And we built a lot of strong connections with people.
Yeah, and I also noticed you have the twisted noodles, the ramen noodles from that company in Belle Fourche. Is it Albany Farm still that does that?
Yeah, yeah. It's been fun to have that Twisted Noodle Company here in town too. In fact, I'm being a part of like the DSU College as well. We're trying to run a special with them. That way, college people can still come in and get some twisted noodles, maybe at a discount, and help help everyone out there too.
Well, of course. I mean, college kids need ramen noodles. I love that there's ramen noodles coming from Belle Fourche, South Dakota. I
I
mean,
know, yeah, that surprised me too. And once I discovered that, I had to get them in here.
and then you have, I think, some syrups, and you had candles there, the Kevin and Kaya cards. I remember seeing those.
Mhm.
Those are pretty popular in the area, the local artist who's making those cards. What
Yeah,
about
definitely.
the fudge and the candies and things? Did you say Gaylen is making those, right?
Yep. So Galen is making the fudge and frosted nuts here. He's kind of the personal chef on that. He's headed those up, and he definitely gets that good old Christmas rush with fudge here as well. I think he's definitely
Mhm.
starting to feel the pressure that he's going to be making a lot of batches of fudge here in his future.
Yeah. What are the frosted nuts? What are
Yeah,
frosted
well,
nuts?
yeah, well, we also make then frosted nuts here in the shop. It also just kind of feels like one of those specialty products, and it's just kind of like a cinnamon sugar kind of a
Mm.
glaze that is baked kind of onto the cashews and pecans that we do here as well, and offers a nice sweet crunch. And those are all made in house here too.
Are those seasonal? The
No, we
frosted
carry
nuts?
those
No,
year round.
all the time. Okay. Do you have anything? What's special for or just exclusive for the Christmas season? I mean, I know you said you have seasonal flavors right now. I saw those, the green apple and there's the pumpkin. What do you do for Christmas?
Yeah, for Christmas, we've got Santa Snack. It's a peppermint popcorn with even little bits of candy cane inside of it as well. That one's a fantastic one, especially if you can come into the shop while we're making it. It just really smells like a Christmas shop when we're making those flavors. And we've got a really kind of unique special one that comes around usually around probably late fall to Thanksgiving time called caramel sunrise. And that's just kind of a play on our regular caramel popcorn, adding nuts as well, just regular peanuts, and even cranberries and an all around orange kind of flavor that we add to it too, and it is
Oh.
really brings up a very light and tasty caramel, and it's a really special one. And if we get a little too slammed with Christmas, it's kind of hard to keep ahead of that one. But that one's a really special one, and that's maybe one of my favorite flavors of all time. And so I'm always ecstatic for that one to come back.
So is that why that one runs out? Because it's your favorite?
Probably, yep. And if anyone
Oh,
comes
it's
in
all
and they don't
gone.
know, yep, if they don't know which one to buy, I recommend that one to them. And of course, I'm taking home a couple bags, so maybe
Well,
I'm part of the problem.
yeah, I was going to say, you're not going to give up your secret stash. I wouldn't anyway.
Exactly. Yep.
When we're talking about getting busy and the holidays and everything, how many employees do you have? And is it the same all year round, or do you hire more seasonally?
Yeah, we definitely take on a couple seasonal staff, and that have actually returned through our last couple Christmases as well. So we actually haven't had to necessarily have a new hire here for a little bit. We've got a lot of dedicated employees that are always excited to come back on board when we'll need them. But typically throughout the year, we'll have maybe between 2 to 4 people working in the shop. But Christmas, we're ramping up probably to roughly maybe 10, maybe even up to 12 people sometimes at most, that will have all making product here in the kitchen. So it
Oh.
definitely gets pretty busy here. Usually, at least, well, we're actually kind of getting kind of everything all ready to get started here now. But November, December, it definitely is full production.
And the kitchen's big enough. And I love that you can see the kitchen. You walk in the store and there's this huge window. You can see right into the kitchen and people working back there. And I mean, who wouldn't want to come back if it's like Santa's workshop and it smells like Christmas? And
Yeah,
that'd
we
be pretty
definitely get
fun.
related to Santa's Workshop or Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory or something like that. So especially with
Yeah.
all the delicious smells that we're able to produce, and yeah, it's one of the things that when you mentioned that window, when we were in the 2-stall garage, that's what people loved about coming in there. You could see the operation. Of course, you could smell everything. It was kind of a
Oh,
part of the
yeah.
experience, and so we were happy to offer that same experience here now in town. There, people can see that product all being made and see kind of the fun and the joy of it, all kind of behind the scenes there.
So most people who have listened or know me know that I love 80 honey from 80 Honey Farms.
Yeah,
My dad
definitely.
grew up in Bruce, and so it's been sort of just sort of that family ties. Anyway, so you not only do you sell a couple of the honeys and then the creamed honey there on your shelves, but you just did sort of a collaboration with them using their honey and making a snack mix that they are now selling online. I'm going to run into their office tomorrow, I think, and pick up a handful of bags.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been so great to work with them here as well. And in fact, that's just all a part of kind of the joy of having other brands here in the store as well. We want to, if we're making a product that requires, say, like honey, we it's kind of our spring flavor too. We make it here and usually sometimes sell it in shop, although it's out of season here for us right now and all done by 80 Honey. But we actually made that flavor, and the instant we started carrying 80 Honey in the shop, we started grabbing their honey to make that product as well. It's kind of like a honey based popcorn core there with peanuts and banana chips and M&Ms, a little bit of coconut to make this tropical trail mix popcorn, and it's fantastic, and elevated that to that next step by using 80 Honey there.
And I was super excited to see it was cranberries and not raisins because
Yes, yes,
I'm not a big fan of raisins, although in a snack mix, it's okay, but I'd probably pick them out. So the
Yeah,
cranberries is a nice
understandable.
touch.
Yep. It offers a little bit more of a, something for everybody, because
Yeah.
cranberries, I know I love raisins myself, but definitely the community, I'd still say, would probably pick cranberries over raisins
Right.
for sure.
I'm really excited to try it. And like I said, they're selling that online on their 80honeyfarms.com, but you have a ton of things on your store. So for people who are listening that aren't in the area, or even if you're kind of close, still you can order online and you have most of your products on there.
Yeah, I'd say we have some of the other local brands that we carry even on our online store. Hope to build
Oh.
that along the line here as well, just because, yeah, it's kind of nice to have like a one-stop shop for other South Dakota or local products as well. So we do hope to
Mhm.
grow that here along the way. You'll find a couple of those on our online stores, but all of our popcorn flavors that we are carrying and our seasonal flavors as well are all included on the online store. And in fact, um, I'd say most people, I mean, some people ship them and enjoy them themselves, but probably about 80% of our online store sales do go to other customers or other people. A lot of them are just built together as a gift and shipped out, and or maybe to family members that are a little far away. And so a lot of people love sharing that like taste of South Dakota with others and sending other people all those delicious seasonal treats.
Mhm. How far have you where's the farthest that you've shipped something?
I,
Have you
I
done
wish
anything out of
I
country?
I wish I started a map when we began this, because we've had to have probably hit every state in the United
Yeah.
States, I think, here by now. And yes, we have actually shipped outside of the country here a couple times. There's been a couple people that have found us online, and our online store doesn't have it configured to ship outside the country, but
Mm.
via a phone call, we can definitely ship out of the country, no problem. And of course, we've shipped, APOs and when people share them
Yeah.
to people overseas that way. And but also, it was crazy that probably about 5 or 6 years ago, someone discovered us even from Russia, and it was a school teacher, and she was doing a little project that she needed certain filled bags worth of popcorn, and our popcorn worked perfectly, and she put in a huge order and we shipped it
Oh
over
my
there
God.
to Russia. So
How
yeah,
cool is that?
I know. Yep, it's kind of crazy how the online community can come together like that. But yeah, that would
Yeah.
probably be the most unexpected and farthest that we've shipped.
Well, that's really cool. Now, you and I had been talking last week about, I'm like, how do you know where all these South Dakota food products are? Like, there were some that I hadn't seen or heard of. And you said, yeah, you try, but there's not really a place. You're kind of working on being. I didn't realize that you sell some of those South Dakota products online, but I got to thinking South Dakota Magazine used, and I don't know if they still do this, but they would have a yearly around the holidays, they would include like a South Dakota gift guide. So they would have a
Mhm.
lot of South Dakota products, and they're not just the food, but it would be nice to have a place where people could just look and know. I mean, there's Dakota style chips, right? And they make
Mhm.
the like sunflower seeds and just all kinds of things.
Yeah,
It'd be nice to
definitely.
see that.
Yeah. When typically we have a little bit of like downtime, I guess you might say, in the like maybe after January, February, and into maybe April there. And that's actually usually the time that I just start scouring the internet and trying to find any other local companies or something that we can potentially get in here. We were able to add a lot of brands this year doing that here as well. But yeah, it's kind
Mhm.
of nice to try to bring in so many local brands together and be able to, say like these are some South Dakota brands that we're working with. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
definitely hopefully a goal that we can maybe achieve on our online store too, and of course then our in-store personal location too, and more so be like a location where you can know that you're shopping local here.
Right. And I think that, I mean, that's become more, people are becoming more aware, and it's more important to people than ever, I feel like,
For
than
sure.
20 years ago. Yeah. I also just want to make sure that people know that you guys have, I mean, you can get popcorn for events. I've seen pictures where you've done, say, a wedding or graduation party, and people have these big, buckets or something kind of filled with popcorn. There's like a little popcorn bar, and you also do corporate gifts. You have these little promo like gift packages that you can put together with. Do you do like their own little stickers and things, or I suppose they could put those on themselves? But um,
Yeah. When we do like to touch on, let's say like little promotional bags for companies first here, they do offer like an option to have the label customized where we can throw their logo and their
Oh,
name
wow.
on their popcorn as well. It's basically kind of like a half-size bag that we do here, and yeah, works perfectly for people looking to maybe celebrate like an employee appreciation or hand out popcorn for a little event or something like that. And yeah, it's always been fun to work with people directly that way too. That's some of the more fun that we have probably here at the popcorn shop, especially when you do talk about, say, like weddings, and we get to be kind of a part of someone's special day in a way, and to be able to offer like some treats on their table for their guests to enjoy. That's just kind of a fun experience to be able to offer a service that does all that as well. And definitely
Yeah.
with the corporate gift boxes, and we ship out a lot. That's where we just are always so busy over Christmas. We usually ship out now up at this point a couple to a few thousand gift boxes over Christmas that are either 3 to 6 bags worth of popcorn. And so we are just spreading the popcorn joy for Christmas and throughout the year too as well. We've done it not only at Christmas, but definitely at Christmas, being able to be a part of companies' gift to give to their employees or clients is really touching, I guess you could say, and a fun experience to do.
What are some of the fundraisers that you've done? Schools, churches, what?
Yeah, a little bit of both there, schools and churches, definitely all alike, and that's typically kind of the main part of it, and sometimes specific school events as well, like say like the band program or something like that for the school. Yeah, that's been really fun that we can offer fundraising as well, kind of in the same way as we do like the business gift boxes. It's usually been like a popcorn gift box fundraiser where you can go around and pick or the students selling it can go around and of course drum up sales and for these flavor gift boxes that they can do and raise a little money for their event.
You have subscription boxes too. So,
Definitely, yeah. Try to offer a little bit of everything. Those subscription boxes, it's 4 random flavors of popcorn every month delivered to either you or once again used quite a lot for gifts, especially usually around Christmas time. Someone will just, they always say that for the people that they just never know what to buy for, they've signed them up for maybe a 3, 6, or even a year subscription for popcorn. The subscription box always runs from the first of the month to the 20th. And to get the same month's box. And this month we experimented with a brand new flavor that got put into the box here as well. In fact, we are starting to sell it in the store too because we really enjoyed it so much. But it's called cookie butter, and it's kind of a play off of Biscoff cookies. And
yeah.
so I'm maybe a little biased because I absolutely love Biscoff cookies, but I think it's a delicious flavor there too. And so yeah, it's kind of a way. The subscription boxes are kind of a way to always keep us thinking and keep maybe turning those wheels and making sure we get those seasonal flavors out or experiment with something new. And if we feel like we got it right, then we can let the more dedicated customers try it firsthand.
Mm. The package size. So when you said cookie butter, I'm like, oh my gosh, can you imagine buying that and then making your own popcorn balls at home? How good that would be.
Sure.
But then it reminded me, your packages are how many ounces are there? So you'd have to buy more than one to make popcorn balls.
Our packages are 7 to 8 cups worth of popcorn. Ounces depend on, just basically the flavor there. But we also offer bulk sizes as well. Jumbo bags, we call them, which are basically like 8 of those bags all in one, cuts down that packaging time and can give you a bigger bulk pricing there. And then kind of like you said as well, are event boxes that might go to weddings or something like that, which would take maybe like 12 of those bags all in just one giant bag. And we
Okay.
sell a couple like the cheddar caramel and jumbo bags on our store shelves year round because those are just the most popular, but we can always do any of our flavors actually in those bulk sizes just on special orders. So yeah,
Okay.
it'd be nothing for someone to enjoy that flavor so much they want a big bag of it, and yeah, do something they want to at home with it too.
How long does a bag usually last? So when you have these sort of the 7 cup size bags of popcorn, how long are they fresh? I shouldn't say how long do they last because
No,
mine might last one day. That doesn't mean, I just mean how long do they stay fresh to eat?
For sure. Yeah, that's one kind of thing about our company is that we don't use like any preservatives that wouldn't already be like natural in the product as well. And so that does offer, a little bit of a less shelf life than maybe something that you can get at a big box retailer store, but it just naturally, like our savory flavors would last a little bit less. And all that would happen is that they just kind of start tasting then a little bit stale. But we put
Mhm.
usually like a 2 month shelf life on the savory flavors, but then the sweet flavors with that kind of candy coating around it can get up to 4 months, or even our caramel products in kind of our nicer new Ziploc type bags there that we offer those in last all the way up to 7 months there.
If somebody can't eat the savory in 2 months, there's a problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk just another minute about the actual, the business and being in your new kitchen. I mean, obviously from the garage, it's probably more you're able to control the environment, the temperature. I know things like that matter when you're making caramel, humidity, that kind of thing when you're doing fudge and candies. So what's it like to be in your new kitchen and, what are some of the challenges of your business?
Yeah, that would be the moving over into the new kitchen is kind of where we were finally able to maybe eliminate some of our biggest challenges that we had. Because, yes, as you mentioned, humidity plays a huge factor into making like a sweet, tasty caramel treat, and it can turn it from something that's got that nice hard crunch, or if you got a little too much humidity, it can turn into a soggy mess when you're baking it. And so in the two stall garage, it was sometimes a bit chaotic. I would say we had like two wall mounted air conditioners that had to run 24/7, and even two
Mm.
dehumidifiers that had to run in the room at all times just to try to keep temperatures under control and everything. In this new facility, well, actually the whole building was a gut job. We eliminated everything from beforehand. It had an old boiler system for heating, and well, actually, I'm not even sure if there was an air conditioner in the unit here, but we were able to add new air handlers that do the heating and cooling and everything here in our facility here now. And they're glorious. We kind of put a little bit larger one than what we would have needed into the kitchen just to handle the heat and move
Mm.
air at a fast rate and make sure that we can definitely get the humidity under control in this facility here. And we really put it to the test this year on those 100-degree days. It was
Oh
actually
my
able to still
gosh.
keep up and keep the kitchen nice and cool. That way we wouldn't have to run into any of those problems. So actually, yeah, moving into this location here was a huge step forward in the right direction for us.
You're not growing crops, but when we think about growing corn and crops, what happens when hail takes out the farmer that you're getting your crops from?
That's something that we've always have had kind of in place, especially, yeah, like you say, the fields are 24/7 exposed to the elements. And sometimes you do
Mm-hmm.
have bad years, and sometimes you do have really good years. And typically, you always try to have a surplus on hand. And that way, and it's happened to us before, where we've actually had it almost went in the other direction where we got too much rain one year, and
Mm.
we couldn't get the crops out of the fields. The fields were too wet. We couldn't get in, and of course the popcorn was too wet, and it actually just ended up the whole field ended up molding the corn just because we couldn't get to it. And so those
Oh.
years do happen, but we usually try to at least have enough surplus on, and say like last year's crop that we can get through.
So do you have a favorite or like a most memorable event or a person that you've created or supplied a product for?
There's a lot of just, I guess you could say memorable events, just maybe being in general that we've just done the whole move and everything. And the town in general has been massively supportive here for us. And the whole town of Madison and our community, our local community. And I mean, even working directly with the post office to ship all of our packages, and with the other local brands, we've met so many great new people here with the business in general. And so it's hard to nail down like maybe a specific something, but if I could still say, and we kind of touched on it earlier, I still just love being a part of weddings and things like that. So if I could group it into a category of what I can find to maybe be like my favorite is just being able to kind of indirectly be a part of people's special days there. And otherwise, yeah, we've just met so many great people along the way that it would be hard to pick one.
I haven't noticed, I haven't looked, I guess, so I shouldn't say I haven't noticed, but do you have a hashtag or anything that you encourage people to use so you get to see some of those events and things, or they probably just tag you on social media?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's probably fun.
Yeah. We just basically have, them tag us, just an easy Gaylen's popcorn anywhere. And yeah, some people have used the hashtag here or there. We haven't really ever pushed like a Gaylen's popcorn hashtag, but always encourage people to tag us in social medias and stuff. And so it's really fun when someone tags us on like their Instagram story and we can see a little bit of what's happening with the product on the other side instead of just us handing it off. It's been fun to see what happens in the community.
What's next? What do you have? New products, growth? What's next for Gaylen's?
Well, definitely we're big dreamers here in Gaylen's Pop. I know we just always have been, and I think that's just how we've gotten to the space that we are in here today in our new location here in Madison. But we've got really big goals here. If you do come see us here in Madison, we are actually a part of like a combo building unit. We purchased both. It was as a combo here. We're in the single story floor here of the building doing the popcorn business, but there's also a 2-story building connected to us here as well. In fact, we've got a fun little gazebo area out in front for people to sit and enjoy and use too if they're eating some of the ice cream or enjoying some of the South Dakota beers or wines like I mentioned that we have here. And but that 2-story building is something that we're hoping to fully move into at some point. And so we probably, I'm not sure if we can say necessarily for sure what we're doing because we've changed it a couple times, what we hope to move into the 2-story building to do. But it'll be another gut job project, which we're just not quite ready for. But we hope to really utilize like 100% of the space that we have here right now with a little bit of a diversity in not just for the popcorn business alone and maybe have other shopping experiences here or anything as well. But that's definitely kind of the goal is we're just constantly reinvesting. A lot of people can see what we've done here right now and think that we've hit our peak, but I think that we're still just partway down or making our way up an entire mountain here side. And it's going to, of course, take time and everything. But no, we're very motivated to just really keep growing this business as big as we can.
On this podcast, I usually try to share a recipe or two, but it doesn't always work out. And you're not going to share your recipes, which is perfectly, I wouldn't either, but it made me think about so my husband, Jason, he'll eat, this is something that I had never heard of. So I'm just sharing this now because I thought of it. He'll eat tomato soup and then put popcorn on top of it. And I think other people do that too, but it's not as common, but it made me kind of start thinking, what would be some of those flavors that would go good with tomato soup? Because right now he just pops his own popcorn and then puts it on his tomato soup. But you have some flavors in there that would be really good on a soup. And so there's an idea for people.
Yeah, we've got, like cheddar popcorn that probably mix in pretty well. And we've got like a little bit of like a spicy cheddar one as well. So it might add a little bit of spice to your tomato soup. And to just even touch on recipes in general, we just kind of have a lot of base ingredients that you can get here for regular at home shopping with just the local products that we carry. In fact, one of my favorite combinations out of the store is we have a pasta from Four Families Pasta. It's from North Dakota there. And then since we just started carrying that marinara sauce from Uptown Sauce Company, you can get both of those products here and whip together a really delicious pasta combination at home too. So
Mm.
just out of just in general items that we sell here in the popcorn shop.
So you have, well, the hoagie hot sauce is there. I didn't see any salsa.
Got some
As
salsa as well,
you do,
and
okay.
yep. So from Char's Kitchen there, which is from Turnton, South Dakota there. So yeah, a couple different options there too.
From where in South Dakota?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that one is Char's Kitchen from Turnton, or yeah, I believe they're from Turnton, South Dakota. I hope I have that
Okay.
one right. But very, very small town there. I never knew of them until we found their product. And but yeah, another just really small local community there too.
Love it. Well, we'll kind of wrap it up here a little bit, but first I want to make sure that people can find you so they can purchase online, they can come in and see you.
Yeah, well, in Madison, we're right in the center of Madison, I call it, and because we're at 118 East Center Street, right here in Madison, South Dakota, right across from the post office. If you've seen that, it's just right across the street. And yeah, our social medias are all at Gaylen's Popcorn. You can find us at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all those, and same with all of our other links at or www.gaylenspopcorn.com or gaylenspopcorn@gmail.com. Basically, search Gaylen's Popcorn and you'll pull us up on the internet.
And another thing, thank you for sharing those. And then another thing too that I just thought of was I know I was just talking to my friend Carlene Wild yesterday from the Merc in
Yes.
Flandreau. And I was like, do you still carry Gaylen's popcorn there? She said, yes, we do.
Yeah, they've been big customers too.
Yeah. And so I mean, your popcorn and products are in other stores, not just you carrying South
Mm-hmm.
Dakota products, but do you have, I don't think I saw on your website like a store locator so that if somebody lives in, say, Watertown or Aberdeen, if they have any place local to them that they can find your product.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it'd be great to build some kind of a store locator on a website. Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, we don't have quite that set up here yet. And yeah, that's one thing with being in this new location. We do hope that we can extend out further and be in more local locations for people to pick up our product. Gaylen himself, he kind of runs a little bit of a distributor network kind of around Sioux Falls, South Dakota there. So you can find us in a couple of the Hy-Vees. There's a really fun little location called Home Porch in downtown Sioux Falls there. We're actually in the airport as well. So if you're flying out of Sioux Falls, then you can actually pick up a bag on your way out of South Dakota to bring to any family event or wherever you might be flying to too. So that's been really fun as
To eat
well.
on the plane. Hello,
Yes,
you're not
yeah,
going to
for
go give it
sure.
away.
True, yeah. And actually, you can find us in a couple tourist locations heading out. We're in like Mount Rushmore and the Corn Palace as well. If you're heading out west of the state here too, it's been fun being in some of those tourist locations as well. Find us around Madison, and actually, Dimmick Cheese has started distributing us out around on their route a little bit too. If vendors want to sell our product there as well, so that's kind of where. It'd be nice if we had kind of like an upload if you found us, because we're not quite sure now with hopefully having more people down the line to distribute our popcorn around. We're not always 100% sure where it's even ended up here now at this point too. So yeah, definitely you can find us maybe even around other locations if you see that they sell Dimmick cheese. Well, if they don't carry our popcorn, then they could maybe even potentially have the option to if they knew that the interest was in your town.
Well, yeah, like is it Willikers in Sioux Falls? They have Dimmick cheese. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you should be in the liquor stores.
Yeah,
Popcorn,
definitely.
hello.
So if anything, if you spot a location that has Dimmick cheese and you want to make sure you can find Gaylen's in that, then make sure you maybe
Yeah.
tell the store manager there or something that it'd be good to get Gaylen's in there.
Well, that's a fun relationship then that you have with them. And I know you have some of theirs in your cooler, some of the Dimmick cheese. And it's just fun to see the communities when you're doing these like businesses together to help each other out, which is so
Mm.
Midwest. I mean, it probably
Yep.
is everywhere, right?
Yeah,
But
that's just one of those great things about building those connections as well. So, yeah, Dimmick Cheese helps us out. We get their product in here too. It's just kind of like a formal handshake that we can all do together. And I kind of like you said with AD Honey, we'll sell their product. We make some stuff with their product, and they talk about us too. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's just kind of all of us getting together and supporting everybody.
Do you have any insight or advice that you'd give to other local rural businesses that are looking to grow or start?
Yeah, and I always mention it if we give tours here for like schools or stuff as well. We actually even just had one yesterday from a business class from DSU here in Madison. But they always ask, how to, get to the point that we are here today. And I always just love to tell people that although if you see, a mega corporation just plop in a brand new building and fully furnished and are in full operation, realistically, that just doesn't happen for family businesses. But,
Mhm.
you just have to have that vision and work towards it every day, kind of like what we have. I mean, this process here, we've been working on growing the popcorn treats since, like I said, 2015 there, and it started off very small in that home kitchen to where we could buy one cooker, and now we've got like 3 or 4 different caramel cookers here now at this point and moved this far away. So I would just say, just keep growing and reinvesting into your business and trust your plan. And if the community's got your back as well, then you can really kind of grow day by day. We're not done yet growing either. Hopefully, we can keep going, and so we're hoping that we'll keep climbing that summit ourselves too.
And it's going to be fun to watch. So I have just a couple of fun little questions here. I think, well, you answered one of them already, but I was wondering what a product or flavor is that you tried, but it didn't quite work out. Well, you're still kind of working on this coffee one. Is there anything that you tried and you just had to say, oh no, we can't do it. It's terrible. What?
Yeah, let me try to think. Well, it's definitely that coffee flavor. It still sometimes haunts me to this day, but otherwise, typically, we've uh, been able to get a cap kind of on something, even if it's taken a good few batches and get something under our belt. So
Good.
so no, we definitely have
Okay.
overcome some. So not too many. Maybe it's just that one is such a big one in my head that it's hard to think about the others. But
Yeah.
no, we always like to keep trying until we can get it right.
Yeah. No, you would know it if you had, because I'm talking about one that you'd be like, remember that one time when we tried to
Yep,
do this and we just
definitely the
never
coffee one.
did it again?
Yep.
Yeah. What is your favorite sweet popcorn mix that you have and your favorite savory? I think you've said it already, but
hmm Yeah, well, one that I'd say probably wouldn't be seasonal, that we do try to keep year round is cranberry crave for like a sweet one. I
no.
think we nailed that one out of the park too. And it's actually sweet popcorn made with actual real cranberry juice and dried cranberries as well in it, and even on like a kind of like a white chocolate based popcorn. It's so
Oh.
delicious. And that one, again, sometimes it's a really messy flavor to make. And so sometimes in the middle of
Mm.
Christmas, it gets hard to get back to some of those. But but that one's a fantastic one. So for one that you can usually find on the store shelves 24/7, I'd always recommend that cranberry crave. And if I was to pick one savory flavor too, it's always a little bit of a toss up, but I might just have to go with bacon and cheese. That
Mm.
one is such a good flavor that I always come back to as well.
I mean, I probably just asked you to like pick your favorite child, right? I mean,
Yeah, I know.
if somebody
There's so
asked me,
many.
do you have a favorite podcast episode? I'd be like, no, because each one is so fun and special in its own way. So,
And I rotate flavors probably all the time too. I mean,
mm,
I'll say that, but being that we have so many different flavors too, well, it gets to the point that sometimes it's just like, well, yeah, I haven't had a Parmesan garlic one in a long time, so I'm gonna grab
mm,
that one here now. And so
yeah.
yeah, they could rotate throughout, but I'd say if I had to nail down those today, those would be it.
Do you have a favorite combo that you mix yourself of bags? So I was thinking when I was eating the birthday cake popcorn, it might be good mixed with the caramel popcorn, or,
Mhm.
if you buy a couple bags and mix it. Do you have anything that you do like that?
Well, if I was to mix like 2 different flavors together
Mm-hmm.
that aren't usually on the shelf, I have probably mixed like that bacon and cheese one with like our blazing hot cheddar to add like a little bit of spice that way.
Yeah.
And Parmesan garlic honestly mixes with a lot of different things. I think I've grabbed a
Hmm.
bag of our cheesy pizza and Parmesan garlic together too and mixed those as well at home. So yeah, there's definitely probably about an infinite amount of flavor combinations that you could achieve here at the shop.
Yeah, those would be good on the tomato soup too. What's a flavor that most people are surprised that they like, or maybe they're afraid to try it?
I'd say our the one that just immediately jumps out to me is dill pickle popcorn, and
Hmm.
a lot of people see that and say, "Oh, no way, no, I'm not going to try that one." And I always typically ask, "Well, do you like dill pickle chips?" Because it's basically the same thing. It's on a crunchy, uh, consumable item there, and so no, dill pickle popcorn. It works on chips. It works on popcorn, and usually we can convert a lot of people over to that flavor just because, yeah, it may sound weird, but trust me, it it definitely works.
Oh, heck yeah. I think I need to get some of those for my kids. They like the dill pickle chips, and I think they'd love the popcorns. So,
For sure.
and then what are your most popular savory and most popular sweet? Now, I think you said the combo, the one with the cheddar and the caramel, is your most popular, like overall.
Well, the traditional caramel is definitely like the most popular
Mm.
sweet flavor that we have, and yeah, it can trickle between like all of the kind of the caramel flavors. After that, more than likely, caramel chocolate drizzle is very popular as well. But if you kind of get out of what I'd say maybe some of those core flavors, birthday cake is a massive seller, and
Mm.
also that cherry chocolate drizzle that I mentioned for some of the sweet treats and savory ones that pop out in my head. We have like a cheddar trio where we mix three different cheddars all in one. A lot of people love to grab that flavor. And for a really fun savory flavor, probably maybe that like cheesy pizza or Parmesan garlic is a it's top sellers there for savory.
So I have two more questions.
Mhm.
What's the best thing that you hear from your customers?
Oh, yeah, hearing feedback is always great. And so when we release a new flavor and put it out there for the first time, even though I'd say, usually extensively taste it and want to make sure that it tastes right and feel that it does, it's when the community tries it and lets us know that it's tasty or one of their favorites now or something like that, that definitely feels good. Like it kind of is like that little bit of validation because it's just almost like you put it out there and I'm just nervous to hear that community feedback even though it passed our kitchen test, but it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, let's wait and see and hear what the community thinks of it. So when they come back and tell us that something was amazing or something like that, then that's always just nice to hear after it's left the building and people enjoyed it to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's risky to put something out there, right? You're putting
I
something
always
out
feel
there,
so.
right, that you enjoy, but then there's always the doubt is are people going to like it, right? And then of
Mhm.
course everybody's like, "Heck yeah, dill pickle."
Yep, for sure. So yeah, always putting a new flavor on the shelf.
Oh.
I always feel a little hesitant, but people usually do love new flavors coming out too. And so being to know that we nailed it is always great.
What do you want to leave people with? What do you most want people to know about Galen's popcorn?
Well, that probably that we're, just local family here that are getting through that day to day as well, and really want to offer a great product for people to enjoy. And that if you're, love shopping local or specialty products, then definitely come and give us a shot. We have our showroom is probably the biggest appeal. We have even some artwork from a local artist here in Madison, South Dakota that we went for kind of like a candy shop vibe look in the showroom. And so there's a train that runs around the entire showroom that's got all the Lake County depots that existed throughout history. I mean, we put a lot of attention into detail, and that's kind of what you can find and discover when you're even just shopping. It's more than just your average shopping experience. There's just a lot of fun to be had here, and it's just kind of the core of our business. And we just want to offer that fun shop for the people that come in.
Well, Tyler, I just thank you so very much for giving, generous of your time today. I know you're really busy, and I just really appreciate it. I love to see how you're supporting local business, the local farmers, South Dakota, the Midwest, and I really hope that people continue, and businesses like Dimmick and those continue to support you as well in your community. Just, it's going to be fun to watch what's next and how you grow. And
yeah, for sure, Stacy, and thanks for having me on. It was a blast to talk with you.
What a fun family business. It's important to note that Shirley Backus is still involved in the business. Tyler said that she helps make popcorn and she is the bookkeeper. Besides, it was her recipe for caramel popcorn that got them started. So they all just keep spreading that popcorn joy, as Tyler said. And thank you to Sarah Hauge from 80 Honey Farms for recommending that I do an episode with Gaylen's. You can listen to 80's story on episode 30, which I published on July 24th, 2023. As of today, that tropical trail mix that Gaylen's Popcorn and 80 collaborated with for National Honey Month in September, it was still available to purchase on adhoneyfarms.com. That's ADEE honeyfarms.com. And I was lucky enough to get a few bags, and it is delicious. So now next week, you'll hear from Danielle Herberg and her young daughter, Carly, from Browns Valley, Minnesota. We talk about breakfast stuffed French toast, chicken pot pie with biscuits, creamed chicken on a biscuit, pumpkin dessert, which will be perfect for Thanksgiving, quickie sticky buns, and s'mores bars. It's 100% a Midwest comfort food episode. Well, that's the end for today. Thank you for letting Tyler and me be a part of your day. Be sure to find Gaylen's on social media, and then while you're at it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Random Sweets if you haven't already. And if you liked this episode, please give Funeral Potatoes and Wool Mittens 5 stars and set yourself up for alerts in your app so that you get a notification when new episodes are available. I am your host, Stacy Mergenthal. Sweet wishes.